This is Jeff Rouse checking in from our Story Studios, and look who stopped to see me.
Hi, Jeff. Tom Tourville, the new author of Remembering South Central Minnesota Rock and Roll, 1964 to 1977.
Rock and roll from our area?
Lots of rock and roll.
Oh my gosh, does that sound interesting? Say, would you consider coming on one of our shows and perhaps talking to Lenny about this book?
Oh, I'd love to. That'd be fun.
Let's make that happen. That'd be very cool. And in fact, we just got done shooting an episode of Martin County on TV. Would you like to see that episode?
Let's do that. It'd be fun to watch.
Let's check it out. Ned.
Jeff.
Welcome. Glad you're here. It's nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Folks, if you don't know, Ned, share with the people what you do.
I am the new president of the Fairmont Area Chamber of Commerce.
Congratulations. We're glad to have you aboard.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit, before we kind of go into what you're doing and such, tell us a little bit about you, your family and such.
My wife is Kim Koppen. She's an art instructor at Fairmont Area Schools.
Awesome.
We moved here in 1986, first jobs out of college. And we have two sons. We have an almost 30-year-old son, John, who lives here in Fairmont, and we have a 22-year-old son, Bailey, who's going to school at Winona State University.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I've known you for quite a few years at different levels.
We kind of go way back, yeah.
What did you, a lot of people might recognize you. What did you do before you were with the Chamber?
I spent 26 plus years selling office products, selling office equipment, furniture, and supplies for a local company called Riverbend Business Products. I was a sales rep for them for a long, long time.
So many people probably recognize you from the office there when you were in the office.
I know that that's probably true, and it helps me out in this job because I do know a lot of people, and I'm not always dealing with a new face. A lot of relationships, and
absolutely.
I'm just talking to them about something else now.
Very cool. So speaking of something else with the Chamber, how did that all come about, and how did you get the position, and what was the thought pattern that went through your mind?
You know, I'd been doing the same thing for quite some time, and it wasn't an urgency to leave or to do anything different. But when I saw that the position had opened up, it kind of piqued my interest, and you know, honestly, I love Fairmont.
Sure.
I love living here. I think we've got so much to offer, and it seemed like an opportunity for me to make a change, do something a little bit different, and maybe do some good work for Fairmont. Sure. That's what I hope to do.
Sure.
You know, I hope to promote Fairmont. I hope to be a great advocate for Fairmont and Fairmont's business community. You know, and you know, bring that all together and help us all prosper, I hope.
So is there some surprises that you discovered along the time you've been here already? Or is it pretty much what you thought for the most part?
I think it's pretty much what I thought.
Sure.
You know, you have an idea in your head of what this job or what this position might be about, and I tell you what, the scope of the work of the Chamber is substantial. I mean, so many programs that the Chamber's involved with, so many committees that do good work for the Chamber, within the Chamber. So no, I didn't know everything that went on,
Sure.
and I'm still getting my arms around it. I've only been in the job for 6 months, and it's a learning process, but it's been a lot of fun.
Well, we have, as you very well know, we have a lot of people in this community working very hard to make this a great community.
Absolutely.
And that has to be an asset for you and vice versa. So
we've got lots of terrific people who live here. We've got a lot of great business people, and we've got, you know, such a strong agricultural base, manufacturing base. We've got a great retail base, and a lot of people make that happen.
Absolutely, working hard for that. You know, and I I knew your predecessor before you and Bob Wallace.
Yep.
And but I didn't know, a little segue here, I didn't know
Bob Eberle?
Yeah, do you know him? Or have you heard of him?
I do remember Bob briefly because, believe it or not, as a sales guy, I actually called on the Chamber over the years, so I did run across.
So I don't know exactly what years he was there. Obviously, he was
I
there
don't remember
in 95. He was there in 95. I have, that I wanted to show the folks and you, an interview he did with Tom Rosen.
Okay.
Back in 95. It's very interesting. So I thought the folks might like to see that. Should we take a look?
Let's do.
Okay.
I'm Bob Eberle, President of the Fairmont Area Chamber of Commerce. You know, it's always nice to see a homegrown business succeed, and my guest this morning can tell us all about that. Tom Rosen from Rosen's Diversified. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Tom, I know the business goes back quite a few years. Now, either you started that when you were in kindergarten or somebody else did.
Well, it was really started, believe it or not, 50 years ago in 1945. My uncle Ludwig Rosen and my father Elmer Rosen returned from the service. They were in the Pacific, one was in the Pacific and one was in Europe, and they came back and started out buying livestock from the farmers, cattle, hogs, and trading livestock, and that's basically how they started. There were a couple of most amazing things probably about them, that they went to 8th grade country school and kind of did it from the seat of their pants, so to speak.
Now, somewhere down the road, I guess not too far thereafter, the focus of the business really shifted from livestock and went into chemical sales, didn't it?
Yeah, from about in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they were buying a lot of livestock. Probably the largest amount of livestock in outside of the St. Paul stockyards in southern Minnesota. And my dad Elmer started selling feed to the farmers, fertilizer, and then started selling chemicals. And since we had all these livestock trucks kind of running through the Midwest, we started picking up chemicals from here in Chicago or Sioux City or Omaha and kind of picking them up on backhauls.
Made sense to combine the two.
Right. And it was almost a kind of a freight issue, kind of fill out the trucks and they're running empty. And that eventually turned into a fertilizer, feed business, chemical business, and eventually chemical distribution business.
Let's talk a little bit about each of those. You have some meat processing facilities and also, I guess, a line of processed meats.
Yes. The chemical business really got going in the 70s, and it's growing into a business now that encompasses about 10 states. We have a total line of all agricultural chemicals from DuPont, Monsanto, and so on. So we're probably one of the larger independent chemical distributors in the Midwest. And that's been approximately 20, 25 years we've been in that business. In 1974, after the chemical business was doing pretty well, and they'd accumulated some things from that, accumulated some money, they went into the meatpacking business. My uncle Ludwig Rosen went to a town in northern Minnesota called Long Prairie, and they started in the cattle slaughtering business, primarily cows and bulls. From that operation, there was another one purchased in South St. Paul, which did the same thing, and then another plant purchased in Yankton, South Dakota, called Simples. And when all three of these plants are running, we'll do approximately 1,800 cattle a day. Cows, bulls, we stay at a niche market pretty much. We also do a lot of kosher. A lot of our beef will go into Chicago and New York in the kosher trade. We also have a Muslim kill where it's called halal. That also goes into New York. We sell meat into that trade. We're in that, by being in that niche of that in particular market, we stay away from the IBPs, the ConAgras, the Momforts, and the other people that are in it. Big people that are very efficient. So we stayed in our niche, and we try to do niche things, and that's what's made us successful there.
Tom, we only have about a minute left. I wanted to mention a couple of other things that Rosen's Diversified is involved in. The marketing of agricultural software, the fertilizer business, and the regulatory compliance service. And maybe you could just sort of in closing tell us maybe a tiny bit about each of those.
Right. We own a barge terminal in Winona, Minnesota, where we bring up barges from the Gulf of Mexico. And we also have a rail yard that's there, and we wholesale fertilizer through Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and we go out to South Dakota. We have a regulatory, being in the chemical business, we have a regulatory consulting business in Hiawatha, Kansas. This business is a business where it helps dealers implement, just about anybody, small businesses, to qualify or to keep themselves abreast of all the laws and regulations that come down, to keep themselves in good standing, to have the proper documents and all that kind of stuff. We also have a software company, and that's a kind of a whole subject in itself, which runs off satellite technology, and it's got grain packages in it and fertilizer packages and so on. That kind of ties into the chemical end of it. So we're in approximately 5 or 6 different businesses. We owned a company called Candy Ojai Bottled Water, which I'm sure everybody in town is familiar with. We sold that in December, which is kind of, we kind of built that up, but that was kind of sad to see go, but you got to do them things once in a while.
Well, Tom, thank you for sharing your information this morning, and keep everything rolling for us.
Thank you.
My guest this morning, Tom Rosen from Rosen's Diversified for the Chamber of Commerce and for Focus on Fairmont. I'm Bob Eberle.
Very interesting.
It was.
You know,
that's fun to see.
And Tom Rosen, what a great business that is, and obviously a great story in its own right.
A great local business, and I'll bet a lot of people don't even realize how big a business they are statewide.
Absolutely. So that was very interesting to see. Done in '95.
It's held up well.
Yes, it has. So now share with the folks and myself a little bit about the mission and the goal of the Chamber today.
We would love to increase our membership. We have about 260 members right now.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we want to have 300 members?
Sure.
You know, let's increase that. Let's grow that base. And there are a lot of committees within the chamber that you know, do a lot of good work. I would like to populate those committees a little bit more, have people participate at a greater level maybe, and reevaluate their scope of work and make sure that we're always cycling up and doing more and more.
Technology-wise, computer, websites and such, are you very active in that as far as getting the word out about what's happening in Fairmont?
Well, we are, and I won't take a lot of credit for that. We actually have a marketing person and a social media person. His name is Benjamin Landsteiner. You know, Benjamin does a great job with that stuff, and we do have a website, and we have a Facebook page, and very active with that, and I would encourage you to go to fairmontchamber.org and check out the website. You know, you can see what's happening with the chamber on a daily basis, and find a lot of great links that gives you a lot of good information.
And when I visited the website, it changes all the time.
Absolutely, and you know, one thing that we've done over the last couple of months is we upgraded our chamber operating software, and that's given us some more features. So our website is a little more feature rich, and that's going to keep evolving as we go as well.
Absolutely. And as far as working with the downtown or different organizations, are you pretty much the hands-on person, or does it kind of go depending on what the situation is?
Yeah, I would say that I'm the lead. I'm the you know, the maybe one of the main contacts for all those people. But I have an office manager, communication manager, Candy Many. Candy does a ton of work for the chamber and works with a lot of those types of organizations and projects. Miranda Larson is our finance director. Miranda more and more takes on some of that stuff and does some great work as well. So I've got a great staff, and we're all involved, and they all, you know, take care of their side of the business, but you know, the chamber office as a whole as well.
And the Chamber's goal is to not just work with the large businesses, but the small mom and pops of the community too.
They're all important.
Absolutely.
You know, if it only took 5 businesses to make Fairmont float, you know, they'd all be big, but the fact of the matter is that we've got a ton of small businesses that do great work, a ton of small businesses that offer great products, great services. Yours is one of them, Jeff.
Sure. Well, thank you. One of the larger ones, 3M, who's a big supporter of the Chamber. I have another interview here.
Is that right?
Yeah. Bob Wallace did an interview with Larry Johnson from 3M in 1996.
I bet we're going to watch this one.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Spotlight on Business. I'm Chamber President Bob Wallace. My guest today is Larry Johnson, local plant manager of 3M, a 50-year business. Welcome, Larry.
Good to be here, Bob.
Nice to have you here. Larry, what is the focus of 3M today now that they spun off the Amation from the original 3M company?
Well, most people know us as the plant up the road here, but 3M is a worldwide business of about $13 billion, and about half of our sales, 53% are overseas. We make everything from sandpaper, which was one of our first products, to tape and abrasives, adhesives, medical products and dental products. We are a multinational, multi-product company.
Okay, one of the very first projects, Larry, that the Chamber ever got involved in was getting 3M and convincing them to move here in Fairmont in 1946. How did that come about?
Well, we're celebrating that anniversary this year. That came about, Fairmont was one of the first 3 plants located outside of the metropolitan Twin Cities area. At the time, 3M decided to expand outside of the area and was looking for proper locations for converting our sandpaper. They came down, talked to the local chamber here, and were very impressed with the chamber's help in finding a location. There was a brand new building, which is now the Rico Motors building on East Blue Earth Avenue. And
I think we've got some footage of that. You want to roll the footage, and we'll take a look at the early years of 3M here.
That's one of our original logos for 3M Company, which is Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. And that's a picture of the Rico Motors building on East Blue Earth Avenue that we rented from about 1946 through 1950. Ed Duffy and Einar Nelson were instrumental in keeping the business here in around 1950. After we got out of the sandpaper business, we were looking for a place to expand our ribbon business. And Ed and Einar came up with the idea that they just build a building for 3M and rent it to us.
Okay, this would be the first building they built then, right?
And that's been expanded now to about 150,000 square feet from the original 7,000 square feet.
How many expansions have taken place? Do you recall since the original building was there?
About six different expansions, right. Our first product was ribbon then in the new building, and most of these pictures are of the early days of ribbon making here in Fairmont. It's made from fiber. As you can see here, it starts out as an acetate fiber that we make into a non-woven web, which was a brand new technology at the time. This is a picture of the non-woven web. And that's pressed out, and then acetate fibers are added to it to give it its distinctive sheen, and then it's dyed into the colorful ribbon that you see and most people know about here in Fairmont.
Okay, and you still make it from that original product that way today, from the fiber first, right, to the finished product?
Correct. New machinery, a lot more automation in the machinery, but the process itself is pretty much the same as it was back in 1950. These are, again, pictures of the converting and packing area where the ribbon is packed into long rolls. There's a hot knife slitter. Uses a heated knife to slit it apart so that the edges are sealed up from that non-woven web.
And it starts out on how wide a roll does it start out in?
It starts out on about a 50-inch wide roll, and then it's slit down into 1 or 2 inch wide ribbon.
Okay.
We have donated some of the wide rolls for use around the various organizations here in Fairmont that use it for decorating and things like that. Again, these are our early pictures of early packs that we sold.
They put together.
Right. This was also a new product that we manufactured here for about 8 years, and that was surgical masks.
Okay, and the surgical mask business went to?
That grew and went to Aberdeen, South Dakota, and Valley, Nebraska.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, we manufacture 3 major products here now, and that's fastening products, protective products, which are polyurethane rubber products, and then our decorative business, which is our oldest surviving product line here in Fairmont.
Larry, we've got some recent footage of the facility, and you can explain what the new configuration of the plant is now that you've got some new products and still continuing to make ribbon in there. So we can roll that footage, and
We are celebrating 50 years. We had an open house for our employees earlier in the year. And what you're seeing here is shots of our ribbon business as it exists today. A lot more colorful than the old shots. We like to say we have the most colorful warehouse in 3M. Again, the process is pretty much as it was back in the early 50s, except for newer equipment and methods. But the basic ribbon process is the same.
Is this the only plant that 3M makes ribbon in?
It's the only plant that makes ribbon. We ship it worldwide from this location. A lot of the market is here in the United States in department stores, but a significant portion is sold overseas, primarily in the Far East, in Japan, in that area. Our other 2 major businesses that we have here in Fairmont are our protective products and our fastening products. And our fastening products are really where our growth is here, is coming here in Fairmont. 3M has a goal of producing sales of 30% of our sales each year from products that are introduced in the last 4 years. And we're fortunate here in Fairmont to share in some of that new growth.
Do you have research and development facilities here, or is most of that done elsewhere?
Most of that is done up in St. Paul. We have about 8,000 employees in research and development in the worldwide, most of them located in the St. Paul area.
What is done down in Texas then?
Texas is some of our major businesses, telecommunications and electrical products division are in Texas.
Okay.
Almost everything else is in St. Paul.
Those are the bump-ons?
These are the bump-ons, our polyurethane protective products. It comes in roll form and also in many different shapes that you see there, and we do all of that designing of shapes right here in Fairmont.
You brought some of the current products that you're currently manufacturing right now. Why don't you tell us about some?
I'll start out with one of our new growth products. It's called Tack-Fast Carpet Fastening System. We manufacture it in rolls like this. It's a very aggressive adhesive on one side and then a hook on the other side. And what this does, it replaces tack strips and seaming and glue for carpet installation. You lay that down around the edge of the floor. The carpet then is manufactured with a loop right on the back, and then you lay the carpet down right on that, and then you have a very high, what we call shear strength. It
doesn't move at all.
But yet you can peel it up if you need to replace it in high traffic areas. It's used in commercial locations.
Is this relatively new product? I mean, can you? Right now it's commercial. You can't buy it as a residential. You couldn't get this product?
Right. It's not manufactured for residential yet, primarily because it has to be used with a carpet that has a foam integrated back on it.
Okay, so they have to make a special carpet back
Correct.
to marries to the
So it's a brand new to the world product, and as it expands, you'll see the benefits of it and be using that in.
That should be a terrific product.
Yeah,
that's great.
A lot of growth. The other one is a fastening system for disposable diapers, and I brought a little prop here.
Okay, a little diaper.
Most diapers today are fastened with adhesive tape, and that works fine, except it's got two problems. If you get oil or powder on the tape, then it doesn't stick, and an automatic dumping feature is not desirable for a diaper.
It's true.
The other is that it tears the polypropylene when you try to open it.
All right, and is this a year's supply for one baby right here, this pile that we've got here? What is it?
That's the way we'll make the loop. That roll will make 50,000 diapers.
Okay,
And the diaper manufacturers manufacture diapers at 12 diapers per second, so that even that roll doesn't last very long.
Really?
But that's a brand new product that will be starting up here in December, January timeframe. And this is the way it works, just a little hook here and the loop on the front of the diaper, and then you've got your mechanical fastener there.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Larry, for being my guest on Spotlight on Business. I want to congratulate you and the 3M Company for your past 50 years in Fairmont, and wish you all the success in the future.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Another great report on a local business.
It's fun to look back, isn't
Absolutely. And Bob did a great job, of course. He always did.
it? Always did.
In a nutshell, what should we know about what the Chamber is doing?
You know, Jeff, there's a long laundry list of things that the Chamber does, and I don't want to just go down and read off the list, but, you know, did you know that the Chamber is responsible for junior achievement in our local schools? Did you know that the Chamber's involved with the career exploration program?
Awesome.
Did you know that the Chamber actually owns the Christmas decorations that get hung on the light poles? Did you know that the Chamber recently started up a new young professionals network for young people to get together, meet, get to know each other, and share a common experience? There's a lot of stuff. Maybe we can talk about it again sometime.
We'll have to have you back for that. There was 2 Chamber directors that did interviews with businesses here in town. I think we're about due for a third, don't you?
Maybe.
Okay.
Let me settle in a little bit, huh?
We'll talk.
Let me get my feet on the ground.
Absolutely. So now, if a business, again, like we were talking a little bit before, wants to learn more about, they can stop into your office and such, or?
Absolutely. We've got an open door policy. Come in anytime. You know, we're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. You may or may not find me there. A lot of my time is spent out talking with Chamber members or potential members or attending meetings, but hopefully you do catch me there. I'd love to see you, and my staff would love to see you. Don't forget about our website. There's great information there. You know, always check that out.
You have a Facebook page?
We do have a Facebook page.
Be sure and like that too, right?
Take a look at that and like it.
Absolutely. And share it.
For sure.
Absolutely. Hey, this has been great getting to know you a little bit better and sharing some information with the folks. And we're going to have you back for sure.
That'd be great. I look forward to it.
Thanks for stopping.
Thanks a lot,
Take
Jeff.
care. Well, that was an interesting episode.
That was really
not?
interesting. Yeah, that was fun to watch.
Very cool. You know what? We're going to look forward to seeing you on the show. That's
Sounds
for
good.
sure. And I want to thank you for stopping by. As we share with you the sponsors that made this possible, remember, it's not just the past, but the present that tells our story.